True friendships are not measured by how long people have known each other, the memories created, laughter shared over time, or even beautiful pictures and videos. True friendships are measured by the depth of water they have had to cross together and how well they passed the test put before them. It is easy to call someone a friend and claim to love them, but what happens when they are standing in the way of something you really want? Hmm. While some friendships fail over time due to distance and other circumstances, some others blossom as the years goes by. And that is how the friendship between Tola and Zikora has been since they were in primary school. Their friendship started when they became seatmates in primary 2. By the time they were leaving primary school, they had become inseparable, 5 and 6. They shared their lunch together, walked home together, played in each other's houses during the weekend, and even shared Christmas hairstyles. It was impossible to see Tola and not see Zikora. Even their parents soon understood that they could not be kept apart, so they allowed them to attend the same secondary school. People thought that they would fight over something or get attached to someone else. But guess what? It never happened. Tola and Zikora never had a misunderstanding that lasted up to an hour. They were always happy and in agreement. Both girls wanted to be TV presenters in the future, and they pursued their dreams with dedication and determination. In secondary school, Tola and Zikora were the envy of all eyes, while other girls their age were focusing on getting a boyfriend or a crush to look their way. Tola and Zikora spent most of their time studying. They wore the same sandals and carried the same school bags. By the time they were in their last year in secondary school, everyone already called them sisters. We are always going to stick together, and nothing is ever going to be able to separate us, Tola vowed to Zikora. We will grow old together, get married, and remain best friends, Zikora responded. Aww. They were so sure that nothing could ever tear them apart. Then they got into the same university and continued with their friendship. Aside from the fact that Tola and Zikora were always seen together, they were focused and intelligent. In their first year, Zikora and Tola came out with flying colors, and they maintained that excellence until they got to their final year. That was when they met their first hurdle. Tola and Zikora were given different project supervisors for their final year project, causing them to work alone sometimes. One day, Zikora had to go and see her project supervisor, and on her way, she met someone, a handsome-looking young man who needed direction to get to the vice chancellor's office. Zikora was gracious enough to direct him, and in return, he offered to drive her wherever she was headed. Usually, Zikora would have turned him down because she and Tola had vowed to themselves that they wouldn't get distracted by male attention until they had graduated and were ready to get married. But then again, there is always that one exception to every rule. This young man was just too charming to turn down. "My name is Dave," he told Zikora as they chatted in his car. The conversation flowed seamlessly, as though they had known each other forever. Dave was the younger brother of the vice chancellor, and he recently moved into town. He was an automobile engineer, and Zikora was surprised that at such a young age, he was already accomplished. Everything about Dave seemed perfect. Before dropping Zikora off, he collected her number and promised to keep in touch. As he drove off, the one thing on Zikora's mind was that she had fallen in love. 3 hours later, Tola was also going to see her project supervisor, and on her way, a car almost ran into her, causing her to lose grip of her books. The young man driving the car hurriedly came down, apologized to Tola, and helped her pick up her books. As they stared at each other, it was as though their worlds connected instantly. Tola should have remembered her pact with Zikora, thanked him and walked off, but she did not. Instead, she stood there and smiled back at him. "My name is Dave," he told Tola. They talked for a few minutes because Tola had to meet up her appointment with her supervisor, but Dave didn't leave without taking her number. with a promise to take her out to lunch and apologize properly for almost running into her. Aww, so sweet. They exchanged phones to impute each other's phone number, and that was when Dave caught sight of Tola's screensaver, a picture of Tola and Zikora laughing into the camera. Nice screensaver, Dave complimented as he handed the phone over to Tola. That's me and my best friend, Zikora, Tola happily told Dave. She could not even wait to tell Zikora about the most handsome and charming young man she met. But Dave said nothing as he handed the phone over to Zikora and went on his way. Later that evening, in their room, Tola and Zikora each talked about the man they met earlier in the day because for them, there was no keeping secrets. However, from all the descriptions, down to his name and the car he drove, they realized that they were talking about the same man. You might have to leave him for me, Tola. I met him first, Zikora told Tola, but Tola disagreed. It wasn't about who met who first. She believed that fate brought her and Dave together, and Zikora should not try to put asunder. Before both friends slept that night, they had a heated argument on who was to leave Dave for the other, and for the first time, they went to bed without speaking to each other. Please like, drop a comment, and subscribe to get more interesting stories like this. Tola and Zikora kept in touch with Dave the next day. Even though they knew that he was speaking to the both of them, they just couldn't cut him off. Okay, oh, may the best girl win then. Dave stood by his word by taking Tola out on a lunch date. Tola made sure she dressed to kill. She wanted to impress Dave so badly that he would choose her. All through the date, she was careful not to mention Zikora. As much as Tola wanted to tell Dave to leave Zikora and focus on her, she didn't. All she knew was that she would earn Dave's love, and at the end of the day, he would make the decision for himself, right? Tola and Dave had a good time talking. It felt like they were already in a relationship. Before the day was over, Tola already decided that she was in a relationship with Dave. He didn't specifically ask her to be his girlfriend, but Tola believed that she could tell when a man loved her, and that was what she saw in Dave. They talked about things Dave liked, and one of them was playing lawn tennis. Tola lied to Dave that she liked the game. In fact, it was her favorite sport. On Friday evening, Dave took Tola to a lawn tennis court, and Tola put in all her effort to show that she was good at it, but she failed woefully. Worse, she even fell and injured her knee. Then she told Dave that it was because she was having a headache, hence her inability to perform excellently well. Dave understood. Tola disliked eating beans because it always gave her a heartburn. But the moment Dave said he enjoyed beans, Tola made a full pot of delicious beans, wife material, took it all the way to Dave's house and served it to him. She wanted him to see that she was more than capable of taking care of him. Dave insisted that they eat the food together because he enjoys eating with his women, and Tola happily joined him, knowing full well that she shouldn't be eating beans. That night, Tola almost passed out from heartburn. It was so bad that she had to call the school ambulance to take her to the clinic. Meanwhile, Zikora was right there. But because they hadn't been speaking to each other for weeks, Zikora paid no attention to Tola. Dave told Tola that he liked women who knew how to drive. And the following week, guess what Tola did? She took her savings and registered in a driving school. They continued hanging out and spending time together, forming an attachment that Tola thought was real and divine. She stopped concerning herself with whether or not Dave was still keeping in touch with Zikora. What mattered to her was that Dave liked to spend time with her, and whenever they were together, he always gave her his full attention. One certain weekend, Zikora's mother visited with a lot of food, snacks, provisions, and toiletries for both girls, just as she had been doing since they were in secondary school. Both parents already adopted the other one unofficially, so whatever they did for their daughter, they did for her best friend too. But Zikora's mother noticed the difference between them. It was hard not to notice Tola and Zikora's rift. They had gone weeks without talking to each other, and they were getting accustomed to being apart now. Zikora's mother's heart broke. She tried to find out from the girls what the problem was because for more than a decade, she had never seen them fight. but they refused to tell her the truth. Unfortunately, the woman could not force it out of them. But before she left, she advised Tola and her daughter Zikora. I have no idea what the problem is between the both of you, but nothing is worth your friendship after years of building something this solid and special. I'm not asking for who is at fault or not. What I need you both to do is sit down, have a deep thought about what is happening between the both of you, and ask yourselves one question. Is it worth losing my best friend? Sikora's mother's words ran deep, but the feelings they had for Dave ran deeper. It didn't just end there. When Zikora's mother left, she called Tola's mother and told her about the rift she noticed between their daughters. Tola's mother called and also admonished them, but neither of them paid attention. They were in love. The following week, Tola went back to spending time with Dave. He talked about the future with her, and Tola giggled, telling Dave how many children she would love to have. Surprisingly, it was the exact number of children Dave would also like to have. What a match! Ooh! Tola did more than just cooking a delicious pot of beans for Dave. She also visited often and did some cleaning, cooked for him, ironed his clothes, and took out the trash. Proper wife material duties. Whatever Dave liked and wanted, all Dave needed to do was ask Tola, and Tola would make sure she did it for him. If Dave even asked Tola to bring the heavens to him, Tola would chase God out of it and get it for Dave. She loved him that much. Dave, are you in love with me? Tola asked Dave. I'm spending a lot of time with you. That should answer your question. Dave answered without actually answering the question. She also asked him stylishly if he was interested in someone else. She didn't want to mention Zikora's name. And Dave told Tola that his heart was beating for one woman and one woman only. Well, that was enough for Tola. As long as she had Dave, nothing else mattered. That night, Tola dreamt that she was walking down the aisle to meet Dave at the altar, wearing the most beautiful wedding dress anyone had ever seen. Please like and subscribe for more stories. More than generous with his time and attention, Zikora knew also that Dave and Tola were in communication. Every time Tola got dressed and went out, Zikora's heart would skip because she believed that Tola was going to see Dave. And so she knew that she needed to put in extra effort to get all of Dave's attention. All the words of advice from her mother and Tola's mom fell on deaf ears. She loved Dave and wanted him for herself. Zikora felt like Tola was being selfish and inconsiderate. I met him first. She is supposed to let me have him and not drag him with me. There are 1,001 men in the city, but she chose Dave. Zikora was not happy, and it made her embittered towards Tola. Whenever Zikora visited Dave, she made sure that she outdid herself. She cooked, cleaned, washed his clothes, ironed them, and even massaged Dave because he said he liked being massaged. In the morning, Zikora sent romantic love messages without fail. Before going to bed at night, she did the same thing, and Dave was gracious enough to always respond, making her happy. Zikora believed that it was she Dave loved. She just needed to give him a reason to choose her over Tola. Dave said he enjoyed swimming, and Zikora lied that swimming was one of her best things that she liked to do. That weekend, Dave took her swimming and Zikora almost drowned. Added to that, she caught a cold just going close to the pool. She had to tell Dave that she was having fever, hence the reaction. Again, Dave understood. They continued hanging out. Sometimes, Dave would take out time to drive Zikora around the school premises just so that she wouldn't have to walk in the sun or even use the school shuttle. To Zikora, there wasn't any other form of love, such a perfect gentleman. Dave showed her attention, care and tenderness, and in return, she kept him happy. Another weekend, Dave told Zikora that a work colleague was having a housewarming party and that he would like her to be his plus one. Yay! Zikora was over the moon with joy for Dave to ask her to go with him where his friends would see them together and not Tola. Zikora knew that she had to be the one he loved. When a man publicly showed a woman off, It meant that he loved her and was proud to be with her. Zikora went all out that weekend. She took her savings and got herself a very expensive dress. Then she spent the day before the event in the salon, getting her hair, nails, and lashes done. Zikora even paid a makeup artist to get her ready for the date. During the housewarming party, Dave didn't formally introduce Zikora as his girlfriend, but he allowed her to mingle with his friends and everyone close to him. And that was enough to make Zikora happy. One day, Zikora prepared something nice and took it to Dave's house. But guess who she met there? You guessed right, her counterpart. She got there at the same time that Tola arrived with her own cooler of food. Hmm. They ran into each other at the gate and both friends stared at each other with hostility. "What are you doing here? Isn't it obvious that I am the one he wants?" Tola asked Zikora. "I am the one he really wants because I'm the one he met first. He is just hanging out with you so that you don't feel bad," Zikora told Tola. There and then, they began to have a heated argument. Zikora lashed out at Tola and called her names, including boyfriend snatcher. Tola reacted and called Zikora names as well. It was a gbas situation. They didn't even consider the fact that they were in public and that anyone could see and hear them. It became a battle of who had the most painful words to throw at the other person and who had spent more time with Dave. Their voices were so high that it rent the air. They were at it for some minutes before both of them got a text message from Dave at the same time saying that he wasn't at home and that he had gone somewhere urgently. It quieted the two friends instantly. Efforts put into making something delicious for Dave had gone to waste because neither of them would be serving what they had cooked. "This is all your fault," Tola accused Zikora. "No, it is your fault," Zikora accused Tola. They hissed at each other, turned, and took the opposite directions back to where they had come from. Later that day, Zikora was the first to get in touch with Dave, and she asked him how he felt about her. Dave, the expert, gave her the same response that he gave to Tola, and she felt deeply special. The whole episode with Tola right outside his house disappeared from Zikora's mind. Just like he did with Tola, Dave had conversations about the future with Zikora. When Zikora told him the number of children that she would like to have, Dave said that it was the exact number on his mind as well. Zikora was certain that she had seen the man made for her. That night, Zikora had a dream that she had never had before. She was wearing a beautiful wedding dress and the church was filled with everyone who had come to witness their special day. Zikora walked towards the altar with happiness. She could see Dave. He was standing right in front of her, handsome as ever in his suit. He turned and smiled at her, and Zikora's heart melted. She could barely wait to say, "I do." Then, just as she got close enough, she heard her name from behind. Zikora turned and saw Tola standing by the door, trying to stop the wedding from holding. But Zikora would not let that happen. However, when she turned to look at Dave, he was no longer there. If you want more interesting stories like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. For weeks, the two friends didn't speak to each other. From not going more than 1 hour without talking, to becoming warriors on a battlefield, fighting for the love of the man they both met the same day. Of course, classmates and everyone around them noticed. Some even cared to ask, but neither Tola nor Zikora had answers to give. They just couldn't tell anyone what exactly was going on, not even their mothers. Zikora was ready to give up her years of friendship with Tola if Dave wanted her, and Tola was willing to do the same. One day, Tola went to do some cleaning while Dave was out as she mostly did. As she was folding his clothes into his wardrobe, she noticed a box of rings. Tola gasped in shock. She opened the box and found the most beautiful gold engagement ring she had ever seen. "He's going to propose! Finally!" Tola said to herself. She could not believe her eyes. One of the reasons Tola believed that Dave was going to propose to her was letting her see the ring. If he didn't want her to, he would have hidden it where she would never check. But he knew that she was coming to do some cleaning. Finally, Tola had won and Zikora had lost. Way before now, they had already told themselves that they would get married right after graduation because they wanted to start a family early. And Tola was glad that it was happening for her and with the man that she loved. She wanted to ask Dave about it, but she was worried that it would ruin whatever surprise he had for her. Tola felt that it was the confirmation of the dream that she had the other night, only that this time around, it would be a real wedding. She couldn't wait. In the next couple of days, Tola neglected everything else and focused more on making Dave happy. She kept counting the days until he would pop the question. Every time he opened his mouth, Tola thought he was going to ask. And she was patient. Some days later, Zikora also went to Dave's house to wash his clothes as she usually did, and while she was sorting them out, the box of ring fell out from his wardrobe. Zikora was shocked. She was completely swept off her feet when she opened it and saw the beautiful engagement ring. And the first thought was that Dave was going to propose to her. If it wasn't for her, he wouldn't have allowed her to see it, right? Finally, she would be getting married to Dave, and even Tola wouldn't be able to ruin the wedding like she tried to do in the dream. Instead of returning home after graduation, Sikora would stay back and start a family with Dave. It was a dream come true. After that moment, Zikora began to practice how she would react, how she would say yes to his proposal, and how she would present her finger for him to slide in the ring. She had even rehearsed it in front of her mirror several times. I cannot wait to see the look on Tola's face when she realizes that Dave chose me at the end of the day. Zikora said to herself happily, if Tola could try to take a man that belonged to her, then Tola wasn't a good friend to begin with. So who is our dearest Dave going to propose to? The weekend that everything shattered, neither Tola nor Zikora saw it coming. Tola and Zikora woke up and the first thing that popped on their phone screen was Dave's engagement videos making rounds on the internet. He had traveled to a different city just to propose to a lady they had never seen or heard about before. At first, they thought they were dreaming. How could this be? It was the same ring they had seen in Dave's wardrobe, and if the video wasn't as clear as they might have doubted that it was Dave. Everyone on the internet was gushing over it because it was beautiful and romantic. Tola and Zikora had to look at each other to be sure that they weren't the lady in the video. It was like a movie with a heartbreaking plot twist. Tola and Zikora were forced to look at each other. What is the meaning of this? Did you know about this girl? I thought he was going to propose to me. It dawned on them that Dave had led them on knowingly while planning to end up with someone else. At that moment, Tola and Zikora put aside their weeks of differences and stormed to Dave's apartment. Fortunately, he was back from his short trip. They demanded to know why he would treat them like that and break their heart. But Dave made them understand that he never asked any of them to be his girlfriend. He never had anything intimate to do with any of them. You knew that we loved you, Dave. Why didn't you leave us alone? They asked him. Dave told them plainly that he simply enjoyed seeing them fight tooth and nail for his attention, and he wanted it to continue for as long as possible. Dave told them that he always had a girlfriend whom he loved and wanted to propose to, and that there was never a time it would have been either Tola or Zikora. Tola and Zikora had to live in shame. When they got back to their room, they were filled with regret and remorse. They had allowed a man to get in between them. It was so disappointing that both of them were willing to throw away years of friendship over a stranger they just met. Tola and Zikora learned their lessons. They realized all this time they thought that their friendship was unbreakable until they actually faced their first storm. Well, thank God they still had the friendship at the end of the day. For more interesting and entertaining stories, don't forget to like and to subscribe.